So for the Pistons and Red Wings, like, free agency has come and gone. It's kind of died down a bit, and I think after over a month away for free agency I was waiting to see what kind of other moves the Wings were going to do first, which they did do with the Petrie thing. But after about a month of waiting, I think now is the time we go over the free agency recap for both the Pistons and the Red Wings, where one team was active and made a big splash. The other team decided to stay pat. So let's go over free agency for Pistons and Red Wings for 2023 in the summer and see what changed for the teams entering the training camps for both teams coming up. So, starting off with the Pistons. The Pistons, most of the work they did in the offseason this year, it came before the draft with the hiring of Monty Williams, bringing him in and giving him the Brinks truck for it. And then drafting Asar Thompson with the 5th overall pick in the first round. You know, other than that, those were only the real moves the Pistons did. In terms of free agency, the Pistons really didn't do anything. They just re-signed a couple depth pieces. Like, the only thing they really did noteworthy was a trade with the Brooklyn Nets acquiring Joe Harris and 2 second-round picks in 2027 and 2029 in exchange for cash considerations, a.k.a. absolutely nothing. Other than that, the Pistons just stood pat. I mean, there were no real big free agents on the market this year, and the cap really didn't go up at all. But next year, I believe it's when the cap is expected to go up. But yeah, everybody stood pat. The Pistons chose to stood pat this year, waiting a year out. You know, see what Monty could do with this squad first before they go and get guys that fit Monty's system. But, you know, hey, if Cade Cunningham can stay healthy, like, that's going to be the big part the Pistons are going to have any success this season. Can Cade Cunningham stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, 100% I think the Pistons can make it into a play-in spot for the play-in tournament. But yeah, also the only other noteworthy thing was Cade Cunningham trying out for Team USA in terms of the Olympics coming up in 2024. But yeah, other than that, all quiet on the Pistons front. Now on to the Red Wings. And for the Yzerplan has been pretty weird how it was constructed. There have been some pretty interesting moves, and there have been a lot of flashes that this team could really be great. The main problem with this team last year was that this team was very significantly inconsistent. One moment they were beating teams like Toronto and Boston and looked like top shit. Next moment, they were losing and getting blown out by teams like fucking Columbus and shit. So the Wings needed to find a way to fix that consistency. And Yzerplan has had some pretty interesting moves, to say the least, in free agency. Last year, the interesting move was Ben Sherratt. This year, Justin Hall on a 3-year contract. They also got JT Compher on a 5x5 deal, which is a pretty solid signing with him. And then answered the goaltending, like bringing in an injury-riddled James Reimer on the wrong side of 30 on a 1-year deal when he hasn't stayed healthy and is a complete shell of himself to complement an injury-riddled Philly Husso. Interesting call. And then the Wings made a trade with the Montreal Canadiens, trading away Gustav Lindstrom in exchange for Jeff Petrie, and also giving Montreal a conditional 4th-round pick. And that condition is Montreal will get whatever 4th-round pick the Wings is lower, since the Wings have Boston's 4th-round pick this year. So out of that 4th-round pick between they have a Boston and then their own, whichever one of those picks is lower, Montreal gets. And Montreal was also retaining 50% of Jeff Petrie's salary. A very interesting move there to partner Petrie back up with Ben Sherratt. And then there are a bunch of other signings and a few depth pieces, which to just add some depth here. But, you know, I don't know, the fan base is starting to get impatient here. And I think a lot of fans are slowly starting to turn on Yzerman. But then Steve Yzerman does something that needed to be done immediately. Because they need to go make a splash and get a 40-goal score. And let's be honest, they weren't getting one in the draft. Because the Wings have the shittiest draft luck in the entire world. And they sure as fuck aren't getting one at the 9th overall pick or so on. Unless Steve Yzerman struck lightning in a fucking bottle. But Steve Yzerman went and got a guy out. As he executed the trade with the Ottawa Senators acquiring Alex DeBrincat from the Ottawa Senators because DeBrincat didn't want to sign an extension and he wanted out. In the end, the Wings give Ottawa an absolute fleecing, giving Dominic Sobrano a 4th-round pick and a conditional 1st-round pick. And the condition for this 1st-round pick is since Detroit owns Boston's 1st-round pick, in 2024, if Detroit gets that pick with Boston, then Detroit sends Ottawa the lower of the 2 picks. But if Boston retains the pick this year, Detroit will get Boston's 1st-round pick in 2025 unprotected. And Detroit could give Ottawa that pick too in the condition. We won't know for sure what pick is going to Ottawa until April next year. So we have to wait till 2024 to find out which pick is going to Ottawa in the trade. But an absolute fleece, and it's like, really, Ottawa? That's all you got for him? Like, absolute fleece job by Steve Yzerplan. Steve Yzerplan just flat out saying this is a stick up and got the local boy. So yeah, Alex DeBrincat is coming home to the 3-1-3. The local boy coming home to be Dylan Larkin's wingman. And then the Wings rewarded DeBrincat with a 4-year extension at $7.88 million a year. That's it? That's crazy. That's actually a very reasonable deal. That's a lot less than I expected DeBrincat to get. Because I was thinking if the Wings were bringing DeBrincat in, I thought he was going to be getting Dylan Larkin money. But he took less money to come to Detroit, which is very interesting. Because there were some trade offers and deals available where he could have got over $9 million a year with other teams. Like, he left more money on the table to come home. So, yeah. Throughout this whole process, a lot of these signings really didn't make a whole lot of sense until DeBrincat. They got DeBrincat. Once DeBrincat came in, then everything made sense. But yeah, very interesting squad. But the Wings now got their 35-40 goal scorer. I watched a lot of DeBrincat, especially in junior hockey when he played with the Erie Otters. Very damn good player, very damn good player. I think he'll be a great complementary piece with Dylan Larkin on the wing. And sadly for DeBrincat, though, we can't wear 12 because 12 has already been retired, but he's going to be wearing number 93, which was his other number in junior hockey before he went to the Erie Otters. So, interesting number choice, but I respect it. But yeah, so the signings all looking good here. I mean, this Wings team easily should be a playoff contender, no doubt. Or at least contend for a spot. Could they make it in? It's very plausible. I think the main thing, if the Wings want to have any success this year, they 100% have to be more consistent than they were a year ago. If they can be consistent, then the playoffs, I think, is a very good possibility. Like for the Pistons and Wings, Wings need to be more consistent. The Pistons just need Kate Cunningham and everybody to stay healthy and play to their potential. I think if both teams happen for both teams, there's a really good chance we could have an interesting three-way arms race for number 1 sports team in Detroit. Because right now the Lions are running away with it. But if the Wings and the Pistons can have everything go their way right, they could make a serious charge at the Lions for that spot. Gonna be hard to do, but, it's very possible. But yeah, that's about free agency this year. So yeah, it's a very interesting signings, and that's about it. Pistons stood pat. The Wings made a few signings, and they got their guy. Steve Yzerplan needed to make a move. He finally made the move. Now it's just waiting on a few more prospects to develop and come to the front. Like, I know Simon Edvinsson, it should be his time. Problem is, he took surgery, and he's going to be out for us to start the season. So, oof. And then you're waiting on guys like Axel Pandem, Sandis Panman. Fuck, that last name of Axel's is way too goddamn long. And then Nate Danielson. Also waiting on Marco Kasper, too. So you're waiting on a couple guys to come up, too. But, yeah, other than that, I mean, the Wings weren't going to really do too much this year because the cap wasn't going up this year. But I think the Wings might make some splash moves next year, because the cap is expected to go up significantly next year. But yeah, that's Wings and Pistons free agency this year. Just not a whole lot really to talk about other than the DeBrincat signing. And trade, and that's it. But anyway, that wraps up here, and I'll see y'all later. I'm out.